Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Nitai, Jai Gaur, Jai Radhesha. Welcome everyone again as we continue with Chaitanya Charitamrita of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. We're now proceeding through the Antya Lila, the last part, and we're going to begin with chapter 16. Um, One thing worth observing is that in these ecstasies of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we're often given a shloka, or a shloka is being recited, and inspired by that shloka, Mahaprabhu is going into his ecstasy. So we were just discussing a minute ago before recording how many of the verses are from Govinda Lilamrita, which are describing Radha's discussion with her friend Vishaka in the late morning before she goes and proceeds to Radha Kund to meet with Krishna, and they're um, engage in their pastimes in the midday. So it's Radharani is explaining how each of her five sense faculties, the eyes, nose, ears, etc., are being forcefully attracted by the corresponding quality of Krishna. So his beauty, the eyes, his fragrance, the nose, etc. So I just thought it'd be worth mentioning that before we proceed. So Gurave Gaura Chandraya Ratikaye Stadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, chapter 16, the invocation, Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanyam, Krishna Bhavamritam Hiyaha, Aswadyaswadayan Bhaktan, Prema Diksham Shikshayat, who having tasted the nectar of the bhava of Krishna, caused the bhaktas to taste it, teaching them the conversation of prema, homage to that Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Glory, glory to Gaura Chandra, glory to Nityananda, glory to Advaita Chandra, and to the hosts of Gaura Bhaktas. In this way, Mahaprabhu remained at Nilachal with his bhaktas always overcome with love. At the end of the year, all the bhaktas of Gauda came, and as when they had come before, they met Prabhu. In the company of all of them, Prabhu remained externally conscious, and as before, he danced and so on at the car festival. With the group came one Kalidas, who spoke nothing other than the name of Krishna. He was a great Bhagavat, simple and generous. He impelled his daily activities by secretly pronouncing the Krishna name. When he, for sport, would play at dice, he would throw the dice, saying, Hare Krishna, Krishna. He was a Gyati of Raghunath Das, the younger brother of his father. And even when he was an old man, he used to eat the remainder of the food of Vaishnavas. As many Vaishnavas as there were in the land of Gauda, he ate the leftover food of all of them. As many Brahmanas and Vaishnavas as there were, great and small, he would go to their houses, bringing gifts of the finest stuffs. And at their places, he would beg and take the remainder of the food of their leaves. And where he did not get it, he would remain hidden. And after they had eaten, he went and to throw away their leavings. He, being hidden, would take the leaf and lick the leavings from it. He went to the houses of Sudra Vaishnavas, bringing gifts, and in this way he would hide himself and eat their leavings. There was a Vaishnava of the Buni Mali Jati named Jodu, and bringing mango fruits, Kalidas went to his house. He presented him the gift of mangoes and bowed at his feet and greeted his wife. Jodu was sitting together with his wife and greeted Kalidas with great respect. For some time they had a pleasant conversation together, and then Jadu Thakur said to him in a gentle voice, I am of low jati, and you are the highest of all guests. How can I serve you? Give me the command, and I shall bring food from the house of a Brahmin and give it to you, for then, if you take prasad, I shall live. Kalidas said, Thakur, be gracious to me. I am low and wretched, a wretched person, and I have come for your darshan. I have been purified, for I have gotten darshana of you. I have become crowned with success, and my life has been fulfilled. I do not, sorry, I do have one desire, which you, being gracious, can do. Give me the dust of your feet. Put your feet on my head. Thakur replied, it is not right for you to say these words. I am of low jati, and you are of high lineage. Then Kalidas made him listen to a shloka, and he recited, and when he heard it, Jadu Thakur was greatly pleased. And the shloka is, Na me bhaktas chaturvedi mad bhaktah swapacha priyaha tasmai deyam tato grahyam satya pujyo yathahyaham. Gopal Bhatta Goswami's Hari Bhakti Vilas. He who knows the four Vedas but does not have bhakti is not beloved of me. A swapacha, who is my bhakta, is beloved of me. You should give to him and accept from him. He is as honorable as I. And again, Viprad Vishad Gunayutadara Vindanabha Padaravinda Vimokat Swapatam Varishtam Manyetad Arpitamano Vachane Hitarta Pranam Punati Sakulam Natuborimana. From the Bhagavad Purana 7, 9, 10. I consider a swapacha whose mind, speech, efforts, wealth, and life are devoted to him to be better than a brahmana who, though he possesses the 12 qualities, has his face averted from the lotus-footed, lotus-naveled one. Such a one purifies his family, but the prideful one does not. And again, Aho bata swapacho to gariyan yajibhagre vartati nama tubhyam te pustapasti juhu shashnurarya brahmanuchur manama krinanti yete. How wonderful! That swapacha on the tip of whose tongue your name is current is worthy of worship. Those who praise your name are endowed with proper action. They do ascetic deeds, offer sacrifice in the fire, bathe at pilgrimage places, and study the Vedas. When he heard these, Thakur said, in the Shastras this truth is spoken. He is best in whom there is Krishna Bhakti. But I am low-born, and in me there is no Krishna Bhakti. There is such in others, but I have no such power. Kalidas bowed to him and begged his leave to go, and Jadu Thakur accompanied him a little way. Taking leave of him, Jadu Thakur returned home. Then, in those places where his footprints had fallen, Kalidas took that dust and smeared it on his whole body, and he remained hidden in a place near there. Jadu Thakur went to his house and saw the mango fruit. In his mind, he offered them all to Krishna Chandra. And taking the mangoes from the basket of the plantain leaves, his wife gave them to him, and he sucked and ate them. And when he had sucked the meat, he threw the pits into the basket. And when he had eaten, his wife ate after him. The basket was filled with husks and pits, and he took it outside and threw it into the pit for refuge. Kalidas sucked the shells and husks and pits, and as he sucked, he was filled with the delight of prema. And in this way, at the houses of all the Vaishnavas of the land of Gauda, Kalidas took the leavings of them all. When that same Kalidas came to Nilachala, Mahaprabhu showed great mercy towards him. Every day, when Prabhu went to have darshan, Govinda went with Prabhu, bringing the karanga pot for water. To the north of the Lion Gate, within the door, beneath the 22 steps, there is a low cavity. And in that cavity, Prabhu would wash his feet. And when he had done that, he would go to have darshana of Ishvara. Mahaprabhu instructed Govinda, see that no one takes the water of my feet. Not even those dearest to him could get that water of his feet, but sometimes an intimate bhakta could, by some trick, manage to get some. One day, Prabhu was washing his feet there, and Kalidas came and spread out his hands. He drank 1 handful, 2 handfuls, 3 handfuls, and then Mahaprabhu forbade, do not act like this anymore. Now the desire of your heart has been fulfilled. Chaitanya is Ishvara, the all-knowing crest jewel, and he knows the faith of the Vaishnavas towards him in his heart. It was for that quality that Prabhu was pleased with him, and so gave him the prasad, so hard for others, to obtain for others. To the south, on the 22 steps, there was an image of Nrsimha, and while going up, it stood on the left-hand side. Each day, Prabhu would make obeisance to it, and making obeisance, he would recite this shloka again and again. Namaste Narasimhaya Prahladahdayini Hiranyakashipur Vaksha Shilaya Tankah Nakalaye. That one's not in here. Or is it? Yes. The giver of delight to Prahlad, whose nails like swords tore the rock of the vast chest of Hiranyakashipu. I bow to that Nrsimha. Nrsimha, ito Nrsimha, parato Nrsimho, yato yami tato Nrsimha, bahir Nrsimho, hridaye Nrsimho, Nrsimham adim sharanam prapadye. Nrsimha is here. Nrsimha is in other places. Wherever I go, Nrsimha is there. Nrsimha is within my heart. Nrsimha is outside it. I take refuge with Nrsimha, the original shelter. Then Prabhu had darshana of Jagannath, and coming home, he performed his midday ablutions and ate. Kalidas was at the outside door, expectantly, and Prabhu knew this and communicated to Govinda by signs. By the signs, Mahaprabhu made Govinda understand everything, and he gave to Kalidas the remnants of the leaf of Prabhu. Such is the greatness of the eating of the remnants of the food of a Vaishnava. Kalidas gained the limits of the grace of Prabhu. In that same way, Eat the remnants of the food of Vaishnavas, abandoning shame and hatred, and by that ye will gain all that you desire. The remnants of the food of Krishna is called Mahaprasad, and the remnants of the food of Vaishnavas is counted as Mahaprasad. The dust of the feet of bhaktas and the water used to wash their feet and the remnants of their food, these three are most powerful. From these three services comes Krishna Prem. Again and again this is proclaimed in all the Shastras. And because of that, again and again I say, listen, bhaktas, with faith perform these three services. From the three is the delight of the prema of the name of Krishna, and to the grace of Krishna because of them, Kalidas is a witness. In this way, Mahaprabhu remained at Nilachal and, unknown to others, granted his great grace to Kalidas. That year, Shivananda came with his wife, and they brought with them their youngest son, Puridas. Bringing the boy with them, they came to the place of Prabhu, and they had the boy bow at Prabhu's feet. Prabhu said again and again, say Krishna. But the boy did not pronounce the Krishna name. Shivananda attended with great care to make him say it, and still the boy did not say the name of Krishna. Prabhu said, I have caused the world to take the name. Even unmoving things have been caused to speak the name of Krishna. I cannot make him say Krishna's name. And when he heard this, Swarupa Goswami began to laugh. You have given him the name of Krishna as mantra, and when he has gotten the mantra, he cannot reveal it before anyone. He repeats it in his mind, but does not utter it with his mouth. Let us respect the matters of his heart. And on another day, Prabhu said, recite, O Puridas. And he composed a shloka and recited it, which goes, Shrabashoho Kuvalayam Akshno Ranjanam Murasho Mahindra Manidhama Vrindavana Ramaninam Mandanamakilam Harir Jayati. He who is the blue lotus on the ears of the women of Vrindavan is the kohl or collyrium on their eyes, the garland of sapphires on their breasts, who is all the ornaments of their bodies. Let there be glory to that Hari. A 7-year-old boy who had had no instruction, extemporizing such a shloka, astonished the people. This is the greatness of the mercy of Chaitanya Prabhu, and Brahma and other devas do not gain the limit of it. And so the bhaktas remained with Prabhu for the 4 months, and Prabhu gave them instructions, and all returned to the land of Gouda. In the company of them all, Prabhu was conscious of the external world, but when they left, his madness again became powerful. Day and night he throbbed with the rasa and the perfume of the beauty of Krishna. It was as if he experienced the manifest touch of Krishna. One day Prabhu went to have darshana of Jagannath, and the guard at the lion gate came and bowed down to him. And he said to him, where is Krishna, the Lord of my heart? And saying, show me Krishna, he seized his hand. And he responded, Brajendra Nandana is here. Come with me, and we shall see him. You are my friend. Show me where the Lord of my heart is. And so saying, Chaitanya went, holding his hand, to the Jagamohan. The guard said, see here is Purushottama. Filling your eyes, have darshan. Staying behind the Garuda, he had darshan, and he saw Jagannatha with a flute to his lips. This Leela, Raghunath Dasa has revealed in his own book, Gauranga Stava Kalpa Vriksha, where he says, Kwame Kanta Krishna Tvarimihaptam Loka Yashaki Tameveti Dwaradipam Abivanan Unmada Iva Drutam Gacchadrashtum Priyatamihi Priyatamiti Taduktena Drita Tad Vajantar Gaurango Hridaya Udayan Mam Madayati. Oh friend, where is my beloved Krishna? Quickly show Krishna to me here. He spoke thus madly to the doorkeeper, who answered, Quickly go to have darshan of your beloved, and took his hand. That Gauranga arising in my heart, he maddens me. At that time, the Gopala Vallabha Bhoga was offered, and Arati began, with conches and bells ringing. When the Bhoga was finished, the servants of Jagannath took prasada and came to Prabhu. They put a garland on him and put prasad into his hand. Apart from its taste, its fragrance enchanted the heart. The articles were prasad of great price, the best, and the servants urged him to taste a little of it. So Mahaprabhu put a little of it on his tongue, and the rest Govinda tied into his anchala. When he experienced that taste, a crore of times sweeter than nectar, Prabhu was astonished, and his whole body trembled, and streams of tears flowed from his eyes. Where did these things come from with such taste? These are pervaded with the nectar of the lips of Krishna. And in this thought, Mahaprabhu was overcome with prema, but seeing the servants of Jagannath, he restrained himself. A bit of the remainder of this food can be gotten by good deeds, he said again and again. And the servants of Ishvara asked, Prabhu, what do you mean by this? And Prabhu said, what you have given me is the nectar of the lips of Krishna. It is hard to get for Brahma and the rest. It puts the nectar of immortality to shame. That which remains of Krishna's food is called Fela, and he who gets it, gets a particle of it, is fortunate. It is not gained because of ordinary fortune, but it is gained by him who has the full mercy of Krishna. The word Sukriti means merits because of the grace of Krishna, and he who has them, that blessed one gains Fela. So saying, Prabhu bade farewell to them all, and after watching the Upalabhoga, he came to his own place. Having performed his midday rituals, Prabhu managed to eat, but always in his heart was the nectar of Krishna's lips. Outwardly, he went through the motions of his duties, but his heart was seething with prema. With difficulty, he checked the tumult of his passions. He did the evening rituals, again with his own people, and then he sat alone in the pleasure of various thoughts of Krishna. At a sign from Prabhu, Govinda brought prasad, and Prabhu sent some to Puri and Bharati, to Ramananda, Sarvabhauma, Swarupa, to all he sent prasada, dividing it up. And when they tasted the sweetness and the fragrance of the prasad, by that unworldly taste, the hearts of all were astonished. Prabhu said, all these are material things, sugarcane, camphor, chili, cardamom, cloves, and curd, rasavasi, cinnamon, and the rest, and have the taste of material things, as all have experienced. But the taste of these particular items and their fragrance is apart from the world. Taste them and see. out of this world. It will be understood by all, and their taste apart, their fragrance charms the mind and causes one to forget all other sweetness apart from their own. These things have been touched by the lips of Krishna, and the qualities of his lips permeate them all. The unworldly scent and taste make one forget all else. The qualities of Krishna's lips are greatly intoxicating. Because of many good deeds have these been gained. All of you taste them with great devotion. So all tasted them, making the sound of the name of Hari. And at the taste, the hearts of all became drunk with prema. When Mahaprabhu, absorbed in prema, gave the command, Ramananda Rai began to recite a shloka. Surata Varadanam Shokanasanam Swarita Venuna Shushtu Chumbitam Itara Ragavi Smaranam Rana Vitara Virana Stedharamritam. From the anyway, oh friend, where is that's not it. Oh hero, give us the nectar of your lips, beautifully kissed by the played flute, which destroys attachment to all other things, of all people destroys grief and increases love. When he heard the shloka, Mahaprabhu was greatly pleased, and he began to recite a shloka of the restlessness of Radha. Now this is what I was going to mention before, from Govinda Lilamrita, Vishaka speaking, Radha speaking to Vishaka. Prajatula Kulangana Netara Rasali Kritashnahara Prasi Vidadaramritaha Sukriti Labhya Felalava Sudhaji Dahivallika Sudavalitika Charivitaha Same Madana Mohana Sakitanoti Jivhas Priha. He who steals the thirst for other rasas of the incomparable women of Braja, the nectar of whose lips is radiant, the morsel of the remnant of whose food is to be obtained by good works, whose chewed tambula is sweeter than nectar. O friend, that enchanter of Madana arouses the desire of my tongue. So saying, Gaura Prabhu was possessed of Bhava, and he expounded the meaning of the two shlokas. Mind and body yearn, and longing for love relationship grows, destroying sorrow and joy and other bhavas. They make us forget other rasas. They bring the world under their control and destroy shame and dharma and steadiness. O Nagara, listen to the way your lips act. They intoxicate the hearts of women. They attract their tongues, and in thinking of them, everything is inverse. Let the nature of women be beside. There is shame in saying it. Your lips are lords of audacity, for they attract men as well. You want to cause them to drink and to forget all other rasas. Let that which is conscious remain aside. You make the unconscious conscious. Your lips are great magicians. Your flute is a dry stick of wood, but it's reborn with heart and senses and made to drink incessantly. Your flute is an audacious male. It drinks and drinks from the lips of a man. lets the gopis know that it is doing so. Ah, here, O gopis, by my strength I have drunk your wealth, and if pride remains in you, then be angry at me. Give up shame and fear and dharma, and I shall leave it and let you drink. If not, I shall drink without end. Have no fear of you, and I consider others straw. The nectar of his lips, in its tune, spreads out with strength and draws the people of the three worlds. We have fear of dharma. If we remain staying steadfast, we are afflicted with distress. Before our gurus, it loosens our waistbands. It makes us abandon shame and dharma and pulls us as if by the hair, dragging us. It makes us slaves. And when they hear of it, people laugh. In this way, it makes women dance. A piece of dried bamboo insults us so. It is to this state we have been brought. O Goswami, we cannot bear it. How can we? But we remain silent, like mothers of thieves. We can neither shout nor weep. Such is the conduct of those lips. And here another of their evil ways. Whatever is touched by those lips, that food or bhodya or drink becomes like nectar, and its name is Krishna Vela. One morsel of that Vela, all the devas do not gain. Who can believe the arrogance of that? Gaining merit through many births, one has the name Sukriti, and that Sukriti gains a piece of it. The tambula which Krishna eats is called priceless, and in that is additional audacity. That part of it which is spit out is called the essence of nectar. He makes the mouths of the gopis a spittoon. These are all your tricks. Give up this sort of thing. Why do you take our lives with your flute? For the sake of your own joke, would you indulge in murdering women? Let us sip the nectar of your own lips. While he was speaking, the bhava of Prabhu was reversed. The anger part abated and anxiety grew. This nectar of the lips of Krishna is most hard to gain, and he who gets it, his life is fulfilled. He who is fit and does not drink it, even though he be without shame, his life is fruitless. Some are unfit and drink of it incessantly, yet the worthy man does not get it, but only dies in yearning. Perhaps in them there is the strength of some asceticism which gives to that unworthy one the fruits of the nectar of the lips of Krishna. Speak, O Ram Rai, I want to hear a little. And knowing his bhava, Rai recited the words of the Gopikas. Gopaha Gopyaha Kimacharadaya Kushalam Smavenu Damodaradara Shudhamapi Gopikanam Bhunkti Swayam Yadava Chishtarasam Hardinyo Krishyatcha Chorashu Ashru Mumuchu Starabo Yatharyaha. Oh, gopis, what wonderful merit has this flute earned? For what reason does it enjoy itself the nectar of the lips of Damodara, which should be enjoyed by the gopis? The joyous trees, their bark as gooseflesh, and shed tears like sap, like ancient ones. Listening to this shloka, Prabhu was overwhelmed with bhava, and in a voice choked with emotion, he expounded its meaning. O Brajendra Nandana, some girls of Braja you will certainly wed, and because of this the gopis consider him their own wealth, that nectar which is not to be gained by others. O gopis, all of you decide and tell me, what asceticism, in what pilgrimage places, the muttering of what Siddha mantra did this flute do in other births? Of such nectar of the lips of Krishna, which makes nectar worthless, and in the hope of which the gopis live. This flute is most unworthy. For one, it is of the Stavara and male jati, and it constantly drinks that nectar. Whose wealth it is does not matter. It takes it by force and drinks, and by drinking calls and lets them know. See the fruit of its asceticism and the power of its luck, for great ones drink of its leavings. Manasa Ganga and Kalindi, these purified rivers of the earth, when Krishna bathes in them, the rasa left by his lips on the flute, conquered by desire for it, drink happily then. And these two women aside, all the trees on their banks perform asceticism for the good of others. They get the rasa left over by the rivers, attracting it by their roots. Why they drink it, I do not understand. Thrilled, they put forth shoots. They bloom and smile with flowers as the honey flow their streams of tears. They honor the flute as their own jati, as when a son or grandson or respectable man becomes a Vaishnava, he is transformed in joy. When I learn the asceses of that flute, then I shall perform that same asceticism. For he is unworthy, while we are worthy women. We do not gain it and die in grief, but it is drunk by the one unworthy. This we cannot bear. Because of that, let us learn those ascetic practices. Thus, lamenting, Gaurahari, absorbed in prema, remained together with Swarupa and Ram Rai. Sometimes he danced, sometimes he sang and fainted, possessed of bhava, and in this way passed the night and the day. Swarupas, Rupas, Sanatanas, and Raghunatha's most holy feet I hold upon my head and place my hope in them. The nectar of the acts of Chaitanya, the Chaitanya Charitamrta, sweeter than any other nectar, sings low and humble Krishna Das. That is the end of chapter 16. Dina, are you ready? I yield.
Thank you for yielding.
That was fabulous. That was fabulous. I had to deal with something, but it's okay. It all went on without me. That was great. Carry on, Jai Ho.
Okay.
Carry on, Dina. You've got the guts of, is that Varanasi or Mathura behind you, Dina, the picture?
It is Mathura.
It is Mathura.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we enter into the Antya Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrta, chapter 17. Likyate Shrila Gorendur Atya Adbhutam Alokikam Jaher Dristam Tanmukat Chutva Divya Unmada Vichestitaham. Thus is written what has been heard from the lips of those who witnessed the strivings of divine madness, most wonderful and unworldly, of Gaura Endu. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Glory, glory to Sri Chaitanya, glory to Nityananda, glory to Advaita Chandra and to the hosts of Gaura Bhaktas. In this way, Mahaprabhu passed day and night, raving in the strivings of madness, absorbed in praying. One day Prabhu, with Swarup and Ramananda, passed half the night in the delight of talk of Krishna. And when a certain bhav arose in Prabhu, Swarup Mahashai sang a song appropriate to that bhav. From Vidyapati, Chandidas, and the Sri Geet Govinda, Rai Ramananda recited shlokas according to that bhav. And from time to time, Prabhu himself, reciting a shloka, would in delirium give the meaning of that shloka. In this way, in various bhavs, half the night passed. Then the two made Goswami lie down, and they went to their homes. Govinda lay down in the door of the Gambhira, and the whole night long Prabhu sang kirtan loudly. Suddenly, Prabhu heard the song of Krishna's flute, and absorbed in his bhav, he left that place. Though the three doors were barred, absorbed in bhav, Prabhu went outside. To the south of the Lion Gate, some Telanga cows stayed, and going to that place, Prabhu fell unconscious. And now Govinda, not hearing a sound from Mahaprabhu, summoned Swarup and opened the doors. Then Swarup Goswami, taking the bhaktas with him, lit a lamp and searched for Prabhu. Searching here and there, they went eventually to the Lion Gate, where they found Prabhu among the cows. His hands and feet were pulled into his stomach. He had the shape of a tortoise. There was froth on his lips, his whole body trembled, and there were tears in his eyes. Fallen unconscious, he was like a kushmanda fruit. Externally, he was stiff and rigid. Inwardly, he was overwhelmed with ananda. All around him, the cows were sniffing his body, and they could not be driven off, staying in the company of Mahaprabhu. Many tried hard, but he remained unconscious. The bhaktas raised Prabhu up and brought him home. Loudly in his ear, they sang Krishna Kirtan, and after a long time, Mahaprabhu regained conscious. When he came back to consciousness, his hands and feet came out again, and his body was as it had been before. Getting up, Prabhu sat down and looked this way and that, and said to Swarup, "Where have you brought me? I heard the sound of the flute, and I went to Vrindavan, and I saw the pasture of Brajendra Nandana playing his flute." By the sound of the flute, he secretly brought Radha to the Kunja Bower, and Krishna went to the Kunj to play there. I followed after him, and my ears were conquered by the sound of his ornaments. There, he sported with the gopis, laughing and joking, and hearing the sound of his voice, my ears were thrilled. Then you all came, making a great uproar, and took me away by force. I heard, but did not gain that flute like nectar. I heard, but did not reach the sound of his flute and his ornaments. Overcome with bhav, he said to Swarup in a choked voice, "Kill the thirst of my ears. Read a shloka that will satisfy me and let me hear." Swarup Goswami, knowing the bhav of Prabhu, sweetly recited the slok of the Bhagavad Purana. 10:29-40. Anga, is there any woman in the three worlds who, infatuated by the soft and warbling song of your flute, and having seen this form of yours, which is the luster of the three worlds, and by which cows, birds, trees, and beasts of the forests are thrilled, does not depart from proper action? End of quote. Hearing this, Prabhu was overcome by the Gopi Bhav, and he began to expound the meaning of the Bhagavad Shloka. Overcome with Gopi Bhav, he entered the rasa dance, and hearing slighting words from Krishna, sweet joking words from Krishna, being abandoned, he considered them as earnest, and in anger gave Krishna a rebuke. Nagara, tell me truly, filling these three worlds, as many worthy women as there are, where is one not affected by your flute? The many sounds of your flute are yoginis versed in Siddha mantras, and messengers charming the hearts of women. They cause great longing to grow, and cause abandonment of respectable ways. They bring us, and we offer ourselves to you. Because of that flute, Dharma is abandoned. The karma arrows of your great glance strike home, and modesty and fear are all abandoned. And now you are angry at me, saying that leaving one's husband is a fault. You are a dharmika to teach the rules of dharma. One thing in your words, another at heart. Outwardly still a different action. These are all characteristics of rogues. You know jokes and laughter, and women are totally destroyed. Give up all this mischief and hypocrisy. The sound of your flute is nectar. Your deceitful speech is nectar. Your ornaments sprinkle nectar, and these three nectars charm the ears, and charm the heart, and charm the breath. How can a woman retain her sanity? So saying, controlled by anger, he floated on a wave of bhav, his heart drowned in the sea of longing. The words of Radha's longing, reciting and himself explaining, he tasted the sweetness of Krishna. Quote from Krishna Das Kaviraja's Govinda Lilamrita. Nadaj Jalada Nisvana Shravana Karashi Sachinjita Sanarama Rasa Sukha Chakshara Padata Bhangya Uttika Ramadika Varanangana Hridaya Hari Bangsi Kalaha Same Madana Mohana Saki Tanoti Karna Spriham. O Saki, the sound of whose voice is the rumbling of a cloud. The sweet sound of his ornaments attracts the ears, whose joking words are sweet sounding and of hidden meanings. The sound of whose flute steals the hearts of beautiful women. Rama and the rest, that enchanter of Madan, arouses the longing of my ears. Kantera Gambira Dvani, Navagana Dvani Jini, Jaragune Kokila Lajai, Tara Ekashruti Kone, Dubaya Jagater Kone, Purna Kana Bahudi Naai. The deep sound of his voice conquers the thunder of the new cloud. By its qualities, the nightingale is shamed. One touch of the sound of it drowns the ears of the world, and the ear does not turn away again. Kaha Saki ki kori upai, Krishna se sabda gune, horila amara kane, ebe napai trisnaya marijaya. O Saki, what can I do? By the qualities of Krishna's sounds are my ears stolen. When they do not hear them, they die of thirst. The sound of his ankle and waist bells shame the swan and crane, and the sound of his bracelet shames the chataka. He who hears them once, and they remain permeating his ears. His ears hear no other sound. Ornaments of that lovely mouth, more nectar, like dun nectar, and mingled with them the camphor of a playful smile, have two powers, Shabda and Artha, and manifest several rasas. Each syllable is ornamented with jest. One touch of that nectar is the life of the ears, which are chakoras, and the ear chakoras live in hope of it. As fate wills it, some gain it. Unfortunate ones never gain it, and when they do not, they die of thirst. The gentle sound of that flute, heard but once, maddens the minds of these women of the world. It loosens the waistband which falls, Without price, they become slaves and maddened run to Krishna's side. Even Lakshmi Thakurani, when she hears its soft sound, comes to Krishna's side in hope of it. But, not gaining Krishna's company, waves of thirst grow. Though she performs asceticism, she fails to gain it. These four are nectar sounds, and whose good fortune is great, his ears drink them in. He who does not hear them, why are his ears made? Those ears are like broken cowries. And raving in this way, the bath of agitation welled up. There was no refuge for his mind. His mind was anxious and dejected. Eagerness, fear, firmness, remembering. There was a mixture of all these baths. The speech of Radha in Savalya Bhav burst forth in Lila Suk, and in this bath he recited a shloka. From the strength of his madness, he expounded the meaning of that shloka. That meaning not everyone understands. Beautiful verses here. So, Bilva Mangala's Krishna Karnamrita 142. What shall I do in this affair? Whom can I tell what has been done because of my longing? Ah, he rests in my heart, smiling his sweet smile, giving delight to my eyes and heart. My thirst for that Krishna, that miserable source of my anxiety, has been growing for a long time. End of quote. In this viraha for Krishna, in my yearning, my mind is still not, but I cannot think how to gain him. You who are my friends, in grief my mind goes mad. Whom shall I ask? Who can tell me the way? Aha, my friend, what can I do? Where shall I go? What shall I do? Where shall I find Krishna? For without Krishna, my life departs. Would my mind be still a moment? I could reflect on it. And while he was speaking, the Mati Bhav arose. Remembering the words of Pingala forced the Mati Bhav to arise. And from that, he determined the meaning. I see this way. Let me give up hope of Krishna. If I abandon hope, my heart will be soothed. So leave this accursed talk of Krishna. Speak other, auspicious things in which Krishna is forgotten. While speaking, he remembered, and in his mind Krishna bloomed, and she said in astonishment to her friend, why do I want to abandon him? He is lying in my consciousness. By no means am I able to abandon him. For the nature of the Radha Bhav is other. It causes awareness of calm to Krishna. And in awareness of calm, fear is aroused in the mind. He who strikes the world has entered into my heart, and that weapon does not allow me to forget. By the power of anxiety, it conquers an army of other bhavs and establishes its own kingdom in the heart. Yearnings arose in the heart. She was unable to control herself, and in grief, she censured herself in mind. My heart is miserable and contrary, like a fish out of water, without Krishna, for a moment, and it dies. The sweet smile on his face is a balm to my eyes and heart, and my longing for Krishna doubles. Aha, Krishna is the wealth of my heart. Aha, oh lotus-eyed one. Ah, that ocean of pure divine qualities. Ah, beautiful Sham. Oh, weaver of the yellow cloth. Ah, oh Nagar of the Ras Vilas. Where can I go to find you? Tell me, and I shall go there." So saying, he began to run. Swarup got up and took him in his arms, and he held Prabhu and brought him and sat him down in his own place. In a moment, Prabhu's consciousness returned, and he ordered Swarup, "Swarup, sing a sweet song." And Swarup sang Vidyapati, songs of Gita Govinda, and listening, Prabhu's ears were soothed. Mahaprabhu was this way every day and night, his raving manifesting madness. In a single day, so many bhavs were brought out that if they were described with 1,000 mouths, the other shore of them could not be reached. How can a miserable jiva describe them? I have only suggested them, like a moon seen through the trees. And the ears and hearts of those who hear these are soothed, and knowledge is manifest of this profound, unworldly prema. Wonderful and deep is the greatness of the sweetness of prema, and tasting it himself, Prabhu demonstrated its limits. Chaitanya is full of wonderful mercy, and is the giver of wonderful things. I have not heard of another in the world so merciful and generous. So, O people, worship in all bhavs the feet of Chaitanya, and from that you will gain the wealth of the nectar of the prema of Krishna. Thus has been told the appearance of the tortoise shape, and the manifestations of madness, with delirious lamenting. This Lila, Raghunath Das has described in his own book, the Gauranga Stava Kalpa Briksha. Quote from Raghunath Das Goswami's Gauranga Stava Kalpa Taru. Without unlocking the 3 doors, and by scaling the 3 lofty walls, he fell among the Kalinga cows. Because of his viraha for Krishna, his body appeared contracted and seemed like a tortoise. Thus, Gauranga, appearing in my heart, maddens me. Krishna Das, whose hope and faith lie at the feet of Rupa and Raghunath, tells of the nectar of the acts of Chaitanya in the Chaitanya Charitamrta. And so we'll carry on to the next shloka. Chapter 18. The rescuing of the Lord from the sea.
Was there somebody else going to read, or was that I don't know. You got to the end of something there. No, it was lovely. I was really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Okay, just carry on.
Yeah, that was a short one.
Okay.
So, Antya Lila, chapter 18. Saraj Jyotsna Sindur Avakalanaya Jata Jumuna Brahmadavanyo Smin Hariviraha Tapanava Iha Nimagno Muchala Payasi Nivasam Ratrim Akilam Prabhate Prapta Swer Avatu Sa Sachisunar Ihana. Who at the sight of the sea, in the bright moonlight of the autumn, ran towards it, mistaking it for the Jamuna, and was immersed in it as in the burning of the Viraha for Hari. Fainting, remained the whole night long in the water, and in the morning was found by his own people. May that Sachinandana protect us. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Glory, glory to Sri Chaitanya, glory to Nityananda, glory to Advaita Chandra and to the hosts of Gaura Bhaktas. This way, Mahaprabhu remained at Nilachala, and day and night he floated on the sea of separation from Krishna. In the autumn nights, by the glow of the autumn moon, Prabhu would wander all night long with his bhaktas. From garden to garden, he wandered, looking with pleasure and listening to the reciting of the songs and shlokas of the Rasa Lila. Sometimes absorbed in prem, he danced and sang. Sometimes absorbed in bhav, he imitated the Rasa Lila. And sometimes, mad with bhav, Prabhu would run this way and that. And sometimes he would fall, fainting on the ground, and roll about. When he recited or heard a shloka of the Rasa Lila, as before he would expound upon its meaning, and in this way he explained all the shlokas relating to the Rasa Lila, and Prabhu gained both happiness and grief. The discussion required to describe all the meanings of those shlokas would greatly expand the book. It is a fear that the vast numbers of those Leelas, which took place at every moment for 12 years, were too numerous to record in the book. Previously, I provided a survey so that in that way you would know the descriptive outline of his delirium and his change. Even if Ananta were to speak with his 1,000 mouths, he could not reach the limit of the Leelas of a single day. And even if Ganesh were to write for 1 crore of yugas, he could not reach the end of the Leelas of a single day. Krishna was astonished when he saw the transformations in prem of his bhakta. And when Krishna does not find the end, what of a worthless creature? All the conditions of the prem of his bhakta manifested in succession. So many transformations of so much sorrow and so much joy. Even Krishna is not able to know these entirely. So he accepted the bhav of a bhakta to taste them. Prem causes Krishna to dance. It causes the bhakta to dance, and itself dances. These three dance in one place together. He who wishes to describe the transformations of prem is like a dwarf who wants to catch the moon. As the wind steals one drop of the ocean's water, so the touch of the jiva does to a particle of Krishna prem. There constantly rise up vast waves of prem. How can a miserable jiva find the end of it? Among all the people, only those among Swarup's group know that which Sri Krishna Chaitanya tasted. But that jiva who describes it can but that jiva who describes it can but touch a corner of it to purify himself. In this way, he recited all the shlokas of the rasa. Finally, he began to recite the shlokas of the water play. Bhagavat Purana 10:33-22. Accompanied by the women, like an elephant kinged by cows, he, being tired himself, broke the dam and entered the water to dispel the weariness of her, whose garland was crushed by body contact and was reddened by the saffron on her breast. End of quote. In this way, Mahaprabhu wandered and wandered, and suddenly he saw the sea from a garden, and the waves glittered and rose in the brightness of the moon, and flickered like the waters of the Jamuna. Mistaking it for the Jamuna, Prabhu ran towards it. Unseen he ran and jumped into the waters of the sea. When he fell, he fainted and knew nothing at all, and sometimes he sank into and sometimes he floated on the waves. The waves carried him about like a dry stick. Who can understand this play of Chaitanya? The waves carried Prabhu towards Kanag. Sometimes they kept him under. Sometimes they floated him on top. Krishna plays in the water with the gopis in the Jamuna. Mahaprabhu was immersed in this delight. When Swarup and the others failed to locate Prabhu, they were astonished and said, "Where has Prabhu gone?" For Prabhu had gone with swiftness of thought, and they could not see him. And when they did not see him, they grew concerned. Perhaps he has gone to the temple to see Jagannath. Perhaps he has fallen in delirium in some garden. Perhaps he went to Narendra, to the Gundicha Mandir. Perhaps he has gone to Mount Chatak or to Konark. And so saying, they all wandered about looking for Prabhu. With many people, Swarup came to the shore of the sea. They wandered about looking for him until it was the end of night, and they were certain that Prabhu had disappeared. And in their sorrow in separation from Prabhu, there was scarcely a breath in their bodies, and there were no thoughts in their minds apart from those of fear and evil. A quote from the Abhigyan Asukantala Natak, Shloka 4. In the hearts of friends arises fear that evil has befallen. End of quote. So coming together on the shore of the sea, they took counsel, and some of them went towards the mountain, Chiraya. And Swarup took some people and went to the east, and they searched for Prabhu in the water and on the shore of the sea. All were overcome with grief, and they could not think, and they wandered in search for Prabhu, in praying for Prabhu. They saw a fisherman coming with a net on his shoulder, and he was laughing and weeping and dancing and singing, Hari, Hari. Seeing these actions of the fisherman, they were all amazed, and Swarup Goswami asked him for news. Tell me, O fisherman, have you seen anyone in this direction? Why are you in this condition? Tell me the cause of it. The fisherman said, I have seen no man here. While I was casting my net, a corpse came into it. I thought it was a big fish, and I brought it in carefully. And when I saw it was a corpse, I was very much afraid. I had to touch the body to free the net, and at the mere touch, the spirit entered my heart. In fear, I trembled, and water flowed from my eyes. My voice was choked, and I trembled all over. I cannot tell if it was a Brahman Daitya or a Bhuta. On sight, it entered a human body. The body was tall, 5 or 7 hands, and its arms and legs were 3 hands each. The joints of the bones were loose, and the skin was dangling. When I saw it, no life remained in the body. As a dead body, he remained with eyes rolled upwards, but sometimes he groaned, and sometimes remained unconscious. I saw this before my very eyes. That Bhuta had seized me, and if I die, how will my wife and sons live? That Bhuta should not be spoken about. I am going to an Oja that he might drive out that Bhuta out. Each night I wander alone and catch fish, and no Bhuta or Preta touches me, as I remember Nrsimha. But at the name of Nrsimha, this Bhuta presses me twice as hard, and seeing his shape, fear strikes in my heart. So do not go there. I forbid it. If you go there, that Bhuta will grab you. When he heard this, Swarup Goswami understood everything, and he said to the fisherman in very gentle words, I am a great Oja. I know how to exercise these Bhutas. And he recited a mantra and put his holy hand on his head. And slapping him 3 times, he said, the Bhuta has fled, the Bhuta has fled. And saying, fear no more, he calmed him. In him was praying, and added to that was fear. So he was doubly agitated. The fear part had dissipated, and he calmed down a little. Swarup said, he whom you consider to be a Bhuta is not a Bhuta. He is Krishna, Chaitanya, Bhagavan. Under the control of Prem, he fell into the waters of the sea, and you brought him out in your own net. At his touch, Prem for Krishna arose in you. And believing him to be a Bhuta or Preta, you were filled with fear. But now your fear is gone, and your mind is calm. Where did you fish him out? Show me the place. The fisherman said, I have seen Prabhu again and again, and that is not he. This one has a greatly distorted body. Swarup replied, he is transformed because of Prem. The joints of his bones separate, and his body becomes very long. When he heard this, the fisherman was most glad, and he took them He took them all and showed them Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was lying there upon the ground, and his body had lengthened. His body was white from the water and covered with sand. His body was long and inert, and his skin was loose. The way was long, and they could not raise him up and carry him to the house. So they took off his wet loincloth and put a dry one on. And they laid him on an upper cloth and brushed the sand from him. And all together they loudly sang Samkirtanam and loudly recited the name of Krishna into Prabhu's ear. After a time, the sound penetrated the ear of Prabhu, and Prabhu sat up there shouting aloud. And as he arose, his bones returned to their natural places, and half conscious, he looked this way and that. In three states, Mahaprabhu remained all the time: wholly internal, wholly external, and half externally conscious. When the internalized condition is half impervious and half externally conscious, the Bhaktas call that condition half conscious. In this semi-consciousness, Prabhu spoke words of lamentation. He spoke to the sky, and all the Bhaktas listened. I went to Vrindavan, and I saw the Kalindi, and I saw Brajendranandana was playing in the water. He was together with Radhika and the other gopis, and they were playing with great sport in the waters of Jamuna. I remained on the bank and I watched them with the Sakhis. And one of the Sakhis showed me all that fun. Their silken garments and ornaments they presented to their friends, and donned fine pure cloth. Krishna with his loved ones bathed in the water and played beautiful water games. O Sakhi, see the delight of Krishna's water sport. Krishna, the mad rut elephant, his hands the restless tips of the trunk, with the gopis, the cow elephants. They began the water play, throwing water at one another, and in the scuffle, showers of water rained down. All conquer and are conquered. Nothing is certain, and the water fight escalates endlessly. Like steady lightning in the rain, Shama, the new cloud, rains down. The cloud rains on the lightning. The eyes of the Sakhis are delighted chatakas, drinking nectar in happiness. At first, the fight was throwing water. Then it became hand-to-hand warfare, and then mouth to mouth. Then the war went breast to breast, then tooth to tooth. Then the war shifted to nail to nail. 1,000 hands splashed water, and the gopis saw with 1,000 eyes, and approached with 1,000 feet. They kissed him with 1,000 lips, embraced him with 1,000 bodies, and listened to his jokes with 1,000 ears. Krishna took Radha forcefully and went neck deep into the water and released her there where the water was deep. There she hung on the neck of Krishna and floated on the water like a lotus, uprooted by an elephant. As many beautiful gopis as there were, Krishna took that many forms and stole the clothes of all of them. The water of the Jamuna was clear, and their glittering limbs Krishna watched in great delight. All the Sakhis, like lotus creepers, gave them help, and with hands like waves presented them with leaves. Some with strands of loosened hair covered their lower parts and covered their breasts with their hands. Krishna did battle with Radha, and the gopis there went to hide in the forest of golden lotuses. They immersed their bodies up to the neck in water, only showing their faces, and no one could tell the faces from the lotuses. Now Krishna, with Radha, did that which was in his mind, and went to search for the gopis. And Radha, who was of subtle mind, knowing where the Sakhis were, came and mingled with them. So many golden lotuses floating in the water, so many blue lotuses beside them. They came, met together. Blue lotuses touched golden ones and fought with each of them. From the bank the Sakis watched with delight. Mandalas like Chakravaka birds, resting on each in pairs, emerged from the water. And there arose the blue lotus mandala, and resting on each in pairs, covered over those Chakravakas. And many red lotuses arose, in pairs on each and every one, and blocked the blue lotuses. The blue lotuses desired to loot, the lilies strove to prevent them. Both battled for the Chakravakas. The red and blue lotuses are unconscious, while the Chakravakas are conscious. Yet the lotuses covered the Chakravakas. This is the inverse condition for both. Their dharmas are reversed. Bring the kingdom of Krishna, such is proper. Friends of friends live together, and yet they came and plundered the Chakravakas. Such is the way in the kingdom of Krishna. The stranger is friend of the enemy, for the lotus protects it. This is a wonder. This is a great conflict of alankaras. Atisaya Jukti and Viroda Abhas. Displaying these two alankaras, Krishna showed them openly, and having tasted them, my mind is overjoyed. It has soothed my eyes and ears. Having played such games, Sri Hari came to the bank and took with him all the lovely women. Anointing them with scented oil and putting amlaki on their bodies, the Sakis served them on the bank. Again they bathed and donned dry clothing, came to the jeweled temple, collected by Brinda. Came to the jeweled temple, collected by Brinda, those scented flowers and ornaments they wore in the dress of the forest. The trees and creepers of Brindavan are wonderful to describe. All year they bear fruits and flowers, and the Devis of Brindavan, all servants of the bowers, gathered fruits and brought them all to them. 100. Madanji, my tongue's starting to...
Well, you nearly finished the chapter, no?
Is it? Oh, there's not much more, is it? Okay, how do you want?
There's 106, 118.
Oh, okay, thanks. Preparing them most carefully, they filled huge platters on the pinda of the jeweled temple and arranged them for eating, placing them in rows, and in front of them seats to sit upon. Many kinds of coconuts and many kinds of mangoes, and of plantains and jujube and jackfruits, dates and oranges, naranga, citrus, jama berries and samatara, and grapes and nuts and pistachio, all the kinds there are, and karamuja melons, cucumber, tala, water chestnuts, panifal, lotus stalks, bale fruit, pilu and pomegranate and the rest, famed in any country, all are found in Brindavan. 1,000 kinds, how many can be written of? Ganga Jala and Amrita Keli, Piyusa Granta and Karpur Keli, Sarapuri, Amrita Padmachini, and Vrikshas and Kanda Kirasara. Having prepared many edibles at home, Radha brought them there for Krishna. Seeing the arrangements for the meal, Krishna was most delighted, sat down to the forest feast. With her companions, Radha then ate, and the pair lay down in the temple. Some fanned them, and some massaged their feet, and some fed them tambula. Radha and Krishna slept, and the Sakis lay down, and watching this, my heart was pleased. And then, seizing me, Making a great uproar, you all came here. Where is the Jamuna and Vrindavan? Where are Krishna and the gopis? You have broken that happiness of mine. While he was speaking so, Prabhu became fully conscious. Seeing Swarup Goswami, he asked him, "Why did you all come here for me?" And then Swarup Goswami began to speak. "You mistook the sea for the Jamuna and fell into it, and you drifted all this way in the waves of the sea. This fisherman pulled you out in his net, and at your touch he became mad with praying. All night long we have been wandering about, searching for you, and when we heard this tale from the fisherman, we came here and found you. Deceived by your unconsciousness, all our hearts were filled with fear. While we were taking Krishna's name, your consciousness half returned, and in that state you were raving and we heard it." Prabhu said, "I saw a dream. In Vrindavan, I saw Krishna in the Rasa Lila with the gopis. They were playing games in the water and feasting in the forest, and seeing this, I raved, for it took my mind." Then Swarup Goswami made him bathe, and taking Prabhu, he went home in joy. Thus has been narrated the story of Prabhu's falling into the sea, and he who hears it gains the feet of Chaitanya. Krishna Das, whose hope and faith lie at the feet of Rupa Raghunath, tells of the nectar of the acts of Chaitanya, the Chaitanya Charitamrta. Jai Nitai Go Premanandi Hari.
Hari 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 Bol. Very nice. Great.
Shall I continue then?
Please do.
Okay, so now we're on chapter 19. Just read you the invocation shloka. Vandetam Krishna Chaitanyam Matri Bhakta Shiromani Pralapya Mukasangharshi Madudyani Lalasayaha. I bow down to that Krishna Chaitanya, crest jewel of those devoted to their mothers, who, raving, smashed his face and sported in the garden in the springtime. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Glory, glory to Sri Chaitanya, glory to Nityananda, glory to Advaita Chandra, and to the hosts of Gaura Bhaktas. In this way, Mahaprabhu was absorbed in prema for Krishna, and day and night he raved like a madman. Pandit Jagadananda was dearly beloved by Prabhu, and Prabhu got great delight by his actions. And every year Prabhu sent him to Nadia to console his mother, knowing that she was sorrowed by their separation. Go to Nadia, make obeisance to my mother, and in my name hold her lotus feet. Tell her, you remember, and I come always to bow at your feet. On that day when you went to feed me, I will on that day certainly come and eat. I abandoned the service of you and took sannyasa. I was mad and destroyed my dharma. Do not take this as an offense of mine. I am subservient to you. I am your son. I am at Nilachalam, at your command. And as long as I live, I will never be able to abandon you. A piece of prasada cloth which he had gotten at the Gopa Lila, he sent to his mother there at the word of Puri. And he had brought with great care the best prasad of Jagannath, and he sent it separately to his mother and to the bhaktas. So Prabhu was the crest jewel of those devoted to their mothers, and even though he had taken sannyasa, he always served his mother. Jagadananda went to Nadi and met the mothers and told her the whole entreaty of Prabhu. And he met the Acharya and the rest of the bhaktas, giving them prasad. Coming to the place of the mother, he stayed there for a month. And then he went to the Acharya and begged his leave. And Acharya Goswami sent word to Prabhu. The Acharya spoke in riddles that were cryptic and mysterious. Only Prabhu could understand them, no one else. Give Prabhu 1 crore of obeisances from me, and lay this entreaty of mine at his feet. Tell the madman that people have become mad. Tell the madman they do not sell rice in the market. Tell the madman there is no anxiety about the work. And tell the madman this is what the madman has said. When he heard this, Jagadananda began to smile. And when he came to Nilachara, he told it to Prabhu. And when he heard the riddle, Mahaprabhu smiled enigmatically and saying, whatever is his wish. He remained silent. Swarup Goswami asked Prabhu to explain it, saying, we do not understand the meaning of this riddle. And Prabhu said, the Acharya is a most powerful pujaka and is skilled in the injunctions and methods of the Agama Shastras. For Upasana, he invokes the Deva, and during puja, he keeps him there for some time. And when the puja is over, afterwards, he dismisses him. I do not know the meaning of the riddle or what was in his mind. The Acharya is a Mahayogeshwara and is skilled at riddles. I cannot understand the meaning of the riddle. When they heard this, all the bhaktas were astonished, and Swarupa Goswami was a little put out. From that day, the condition of Prabhu intensified. His condition of separation from Krishna doubled. Day and night, he displayed mad ravings, and incessantly his viraha grew under the control of Radha Bhav. Suddenly, the journey of Krishna to Mathura would come to him, and the signs of madness appeared, a condition of disorientation. He raved, clinging to the neck of Ramananda, and he asked Swarup questions, believing him to be a Shaki. As formerly Radha asked Vishaka, he began to rave like that, reciting the shloka. O friend, where is that full moon of the family of Nanda? Where is he, adorned with the feathers of the peacock? Where is he who plays deep sounds on his flute? Where is he whose luster is like that of the sapphire jewel? Where is he, the dancer of the rasa, of the rasa lila? Where is he who is the medicine which saves my life? Alas, O friend, where is that priceless jewel dear to my heart? Ah, the curse on my fate. That's the shloka. The family of Brajendra is a sea of milk, and Krishna is the full moon over it, by his birth illumining the world. Who drinks the nectar of his effulgence, live eternally drinking, the eyes of the people of Braja, the Chakoras. O Saki, where can you enable me to see Krishna, whose face, if for an instant I do not see, my heart bursts? Show him to me quickly, or my life is lost. These beautiful women of Braja are lotuses, scorched by the sun of Kama. Giving the gift of the nectar of his own hands, he makes them bloom. Where is that moon of mine? Show him to me, O Shaki, save my life. Where is that crest with the waving peacock feathers, like the bow of Indra on the new cloud, with yellow cloth like a streak of lightning, and his necklace of pearls, a row of herons, his dark body shaming the new cloud, whose eyes he strikes once, he is forever awake in his heart, his dark body like the gum of the mango, He enters into the hearts of women, and even with exertion cannot be dislodged. It is not a body, it is a Seakuda thorn, shaming the luster of the Tamala tree, a luster like the sapphire. His radiance intoxicates the world. In it is kneaded Sringara rasa, mixed with the light of the moon. Vidhata knows the secrets of creating. Where is the sound of that flute shaming the rumble of the new cloud, hearing which the world is drawn? The people of Braja arise and run like thirsty Chataka birds and come to drink the stream of his nectar radiance. That moonshine, the great life-preserving medicine. Oh friend, he is most dear to my heart. My body lives without him. Oh, fie on this life. The god of destiny is mocking me. Who does not want to live? Why does he make her live? Sorrow and anger arise against Vidata. Thus he reproached Vidata and reproached Krishna out of love and recited a shloka from the Bhagavad. Let me just find it. Yes. Iti Bruvanam Viduram Vinitam Sahasra Shirshnascharanopadhanam Prashishta Roma Bhagavat Kathayam Praniyamano Munirashcha Chasta. Vidata, you show no mercy at all, for you tie us jivas with friendship and with love, but before they are fulfilled, you cut us away. You act like a child, your actions devoid of meaning. End of quote. You do not know the dharma of prema, and your efforts are vain. You act like a child. If I could catch you, I would give you a lesson, and then you would not act like this. Oh Vidhi, you are very cruel. People who are inaccessible to one another, you cause to meet in prema. Why do you separate them with unfulfilled desire? Vidhi means destiny. O Vidhi, compassionless one, having shown me Krishna's face, you made my heart and eyes desire. While for one brief moment I drink of it, you took it to another place. You did wrong in taking what was once given. Akrura has done this wrong to you. Why are you angry with me? If you say this, it is wrong. You hold the image of Akrura, and you have stolen Krishna away. No other could act like this. It is the fault of my own karma. Why am I angry at you? Your relation to me is very distant. He who is the Lord of my life, with whom I live together, it is that Krishna who is cruel. I abandoned all for him. I worship him, and he kills me with his own hands. Krishna has no fear of killing women. I die for him, yet he does not turn to look. In an instant he broke the bonds of love. But why am I angry at Krishna? It is the fault of my own ill fate. The fruit of my papa has ripened. That Krishna who was subservient to my love, you have made indifferent. That is the power of my misfortune. In this way, Gaura Rai lamented in his misery. Ah, Krishna, where did you go? The Gopi Bhava in his heart, he raved in these words, saying, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Then Swarupa and Ramarai tried many ways to reassure Mahaprabhu. They sang songs of the union and brought the mind of Prabhu back, and his heart became a little calm. In this way, half the night passed in lamentation. And in the deep of the night, Swarupa Goswami made Prabhu lie down. Swarupa and Govinda lay down in the door of the Gambhira, and when they had made Prabhu lie down, Ramananda went to his own house. Mahaprabhu's mind was burning under the control of prema, and he sat awake, making Nam Sankirtan. Anguish of viraha and anxiety rose up in Prabhu, and he began to hit his face on the walls of the Gambhira. Should be grind, if you don't mind me saying. Grind his face. His mouth and cheeks and nose were cut and bruised all over, but absorbed in bhava, Prabhu did not feel the streams of blood trickling down. The whole night, in his bhava, he wounded his face, and then Swarupa heard him groaning. Lighting a lamp, he entered the room and saw Prabhu's face, and Swarupa and Govinda both were dismayed. Bringing Prabhu to the cot, they calmed him down, and Swarupa asked him, "Why have you done this?" And Prabhu replied, "I was anxious, and I could not stay in the room. So I wandered about, looking for the door, so that I could go outside, quickly go outside. I could not find the door, and I hit my face on the four walls. It was bruised, and the blood fell, and I could not find the way to go." In his maddened state, Prabhu's mind was not still, and what he did and what he said, in all these were the signs of madness. Swarupa Goswami was deeply concerned in his heart, and the next day he consulted with the bhaktas. All the bhaktas together pleaded with Prabhu, and they had Shankara Pandit lie with him. Shankara would rest at the feet of Prabhu, and Prabhu rested his feet on him, and thus his name became the pillow of the feet of Prabhu, Prabhupada Padana. As formerly Sri Shuka described Vidura, where it is said, "To Vidura, who had just spoken, the humble foot pillow of Sahasrashirsha, the hermit thrilled at the story of Krishna and affectionate replied." End of quote. Shankara massaged the feet of Prabhu, and when he had fallen asleep, then Shankara lay down. Shankara fell asleep with his body uncovered, and Prabhu got up and spread his own cloth over him. All the time Chaitanya was asleep, Shankara was quick to wake. Sometimes he sat awake the whole night long, massaging his feet. So out of concern for him, Prabhu was not able to go outside, and in fear of him, he was unable to hit his lotus face on the walls. This Leela of Mahaprabhu, Raghunath Das has revealed in his Gauranga Stavakalpa Vriksha. Maddened by the viraha of his Goshta, which was like a crore of his own lives, he raved incessantly, and in his confusion he struck his face on the walls, and the blood flowed incessantly from the wounds on his moon-like face. That Gauranga has entered my heart and makes me mad. End of quote. Mahaprabhu was this way day and night, immersed in the sea of prema, sometimes sinking and sometimes floating. Once, on the day of the full moon of Vaishakha, in the night, Prabhu went into a garden. It was a vast garden, Jagannath Vallabha by name, and Prabhu entered it with his bhaktas. The trees and the creepers were in bloom, and it was like Vrindavan. The parrots and parakeets and the nightingales and bees were singing, and the Malaya wind blew, redolent with the scent of the flowers, like a guru teaching the creepers and the trees to dance. The light of the full moon was very bright, and the trees and creepers glistened in the moonlight. Spring is the chief among the 6 seasons, And when he saw all this, Gaura Bhagavan was delighted. He asked that the pada Lalita Lavanga Lata be sung, and Prabhu went forward dancing with his own people. He wandered to each tree and creeper there, and suddenly he saw Krishna under an Ashoka tree. When he saw Krishna, Mahaprabhu went running there. Seeing him before him, he laughed. Then Krishna disappeared. He had found Krishna before him and again had lost him. Prabhu fell fainting on the ground. The garden was permeated with the perfume of the holy body of Krishna. And when he smelled that perfume, Prabhu became unconscious. The scent of Krishna always entered his nostrils, and when he tasted the scent, Prabhu became mad, drunken with the fragrance of Krishna. As Radha spoke to her Shakis, so Prabhu recited and expanded on that shloka. The verse, O friend, he who by the waves of fragrance of his body, which is more intoxicating than musk, attracts the women of Braja, and who with the 8 lotuses of his body spreads the scent of lotuses mixed with camphor, and who anoints his own body with sweet-smelling things like musk and camphor, sandalwood and Krishna Guru, that enchanter of Madana, makes my nostrils yearn. Blue lotuses mixed with musk, the perfume of that, the fragrance of the body of Krishna conquers. It pervades the 14 worlds and draws everything and blinds the eyes of women. O Sakhi, the fragrance of Krishna intoxicates the world. He enters the nostrils of women and lingers there for all time, and they are drawn to Krishna's side. Eyes and navel and face, and his 2 hands and feet are 8 lotuses on the body of Krishna. A lotus anointed with camphor, the perfume of that is the fragrance found in those 8 lotuses. Sandalwood bound with gold, having rubbed that, and with aloe wood, saffron and musk, and with camphor anointing the body, together with the fragrance of his body before that, all these combine to steal like thieves. They steal the hearts and bodies of women and whirl in the nostrils and unite, untie the waist knot and loosen the bound hair, first making them mad women. It causes the women of the world to dance. Such is the plundering of the fragrance of the body of Krishna. The nostrils are controlled by the scent. They always hope for it. Sometimes they find it and sometimes not. When they get it, they drink their fill and still say, "Let me drink." If they do not find it, they die of thirst. The dance of Madana Mohan, shopkeeper of the market of fragrances, makes the buyers, the women of the world, yearn. He gives them priceless fragrance, and giving it, he binds them, and they cannot find the path to their homes. In this way, Gaurahari, his mind stolen by the perfume, like a bee ran this way and that. He went to the side of the trees and creepers in hope of finding Krishna there. He found no Krishna. He only picked up the scent. Swarup and Raghunath sang, and Prabhu danced in happiness. And in this way, morning came. Swarup and Ramananda Rai tried many means until Mahaprabhu's consciousness returned. His delirium and devotion to his mother, and wounding his face on the walls, and the divine dance because of Krishna's fragrance, these 4 separate Leelas have been sung in this chapter by Krishna Das, the servant of Rupa Goswami. In this way, Mahaprabhu regained consciousness, and having bathed, he went to have darshana of Jagannath. The Leelas of Krishna are unworldly. They have divine power and cannot be ascertained by logic. In whose heart this prema is always awakened, even wise and learned men cannot understand the way of it. And so it is said in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in whose mind this new prema arises, that fortunate man's gestures even wise men will find difficult to fully understand. End of quote. Hearing the unworldly ravings and actions of Prabhu, do not discuss them rationally, but hear them with faith. The proof of the truth of them is in the Sri Bhagavata and the Brahmara Gita, in the prema lamentations of Sri Radha, like the song of the queens at the end of the 10th book. Even learned and wise men do not understand the special significance of these. It is through the pair, Nityananda and Mahaprabhu, and the servants of their servants, that grace is granted, and through whom comes faith. So hear and believe, and while listening you will gain great happiness, and you will cut away the misery of Adhyatmika and the rest, and of false logic. The nectar of the acts of Chaitanya is eternally renewed, and while listening to it, the ears and the heart are soothed. Krishna Das, whose hope and faith lie at the feet of Rupa and Raghunath, tells of the nectar of the acts of Chaitanya, the Chaitanya Charitamrta. Shall I sneakily read the last one, or do we have to go? It's not that long, the last one.
I don't think we. Where? So it's just we're right at the end now of the whole thing.
This is the last chapter, yeah.
Yeah, just keep going to the end. That's it.
All right then. I'll be. I won't rush it too much.
No, don't rush at all. Just
okay. All right. Chapter 20 of the Antya Lila of Sri Krishna Das Kaviraja Goswami Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. This is the last chapter. Shloka. Delight, spite, anxiety, humility, and grief, all born of prema, are mixed together and are heard by fortunate people in the raving words of Gauranga. Glory, glory to Gaurachandra, glory to Nityananda, glory to Advaita Chandra, and to the hosts of Gaura Bhaktas. In this way, Mahaprabhu remained at Nilachal day and night in anguish because of viraha from Krishna. With the same two, Swarup and Ramananda, day and night, he tasted shlokas and songs of rasa. Various bhavas rose up in Prabhu: delight, grief and anger, humility, anxiety, distress, misery, and joy. And according to those bhavas, he himself recited shlokas, and with his two friends, he savored the meanings of the shlokas. On one of those days, he recited shlokas in a particular bhava, and he stayed awake the whole night to taste those shlokas. In delight, Prabhu said, "Listen, O Swarup and Ram Rai, the best religious means in the Kali age is Nama Sankirtana. By the sacrifice of Sankirtana, Krishna is worshipped, and by that alone, wise men are the feet of Krishna gained." And so in the Bhagavad, good and wise people indeed worship him by sacrifice, namely chiefly Sankirtana, together with his followers and weapons of Anga and Upanga, black-coloured yet light-coloured in his glory. End of quote. By Nam Sankirtana, all that is meaningless is destroyed. And in the delight of Krishna Prema, arises all that is auspicious. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayati Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. That which polishes the mirror of the mind, which extinguishes the forest fire of the heat of worldly life, which spreads the radiance of the moonlight of auspiciousness, which is the soul of the bride of knowledge, which expands the ocean of joy, which on the first day of waxing gives nectar of the full moon, bathing the souls of all, that Krishna Nam Sankirtana conquers all with its excellence. From Sankirtana comes the destruction of papa and of the purification of the mind and the sprouting of all sadhana bhakti. In it is the sprouting of Krishna prema, the taste of the nectar of prema, the attainment of Krishna, immersion in the ocean of the nectar of service. And there rose up dejection and misery as he recited a shloka, and when they heard the interpretation of it, all were plunged into unhappiness and grief. You know this shloka. Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva shakti statrarpita niyamita smaranena kala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaiva midrishamiha janidhanuraga. You have propagated your many names. By them you have delegated all your own power. You have established no time for the remembering of them. O Bhagavan, such is your mercy. But such is my misfortune, that there is not being born in me any profound attachment to them. The desires of many people are of many kinds, and in his mercy he has propagated many names. One takes his name at any time, while eating or while lying down. There is no fixed time nor place, for it is the perfection of all. He had divided all his power among the names, and such is my misfortune that I possess none of that profound love in the names. But if you take the name, how prema is born, here are the signs of that, O Swarupa and Ram Rai. Trinada pisunichena, tarori vasahishnuna, amanina amanadena, kirtaniya sadahari. He who knows himself as humbler than the grass, who is more forbearing than a tree, who feels no pride, but gives honor to other men, he should practice always the Hari Sankirtan. He is the best who considers himself as lower than the grass, and like the tree, his forbearance is of two kinds. As the tree says nothing when it is cut, and even if it dies shriveling up, it does not beg for water. To anyone who asks, it gives to him of his own wealth. It bears the heat and the rain, protecting others. So that Vaishnava is best, who is without pride. He will honor jivas, knowing them to be abodes of Krishna. Like this is he who takes the name of Krishna, and in such a one at the feet of Krishna is prema born. While thus he was speaking in this way, the humility of Prabhu grew, and he began to beg Krishna for pure bhakti. For this is the nature of prema, and he who is immersed in prema considers, I have not a hint of prema. So now it's verse 4 of Shikshastaka. I can't remember it. I know it. Nadanam najanam nasundarim kavitam va jagati shakamai mama janmani janmani ishwari bhavatad bhaktira hoituki tvai. O Jagadisha, I do not desire wealth or offspring or beautiful women nor poetic genius, but that from birth to birth spontaneous bhakti be in me towards you. I do not beg wealth or children, nor poetry, nor beautiful women, but give me, O Krishna, pure bhakti and be merciful. And in his deep humility again, he begged the gift of Dasya Bhakti, considering himself as a jiva in the world. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishane bhavam buddho kripaya tava pada pankaja stita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. O son of Nanda, be merciful to me, your servant, fallen into the sea of this vicious world, and consider me as the dust on your lotus feet. I am your eternal slave, and have forgotten you, and trapped by Maya, I have fallen into the sea of the world. Be merciful and treat me as the dust on your feet. I am your servant, and I serve you. And again, great anxiety and humility arose. And he begged of Krishna the Nama Sankirtana with praying. Nayanam galadasrudadaya vadanam gadgadaruddaya gira pulakai nichitam vapukadata nama grahani bhavishyati. When, in taking your name, will the streams of tears from my eyes wet my cheeks, and my voice choke, and my body be thrilled? Without the wealth of prema, life is miserable and meaningless. Make me your servant and give me wages of the wealth of prema. His heart absorbed in rasa, the emotion of separation burst forth, and in grief and anguish, misery he raved. Yugayitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrishayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahinami. In viraha for Govinda, an instant is for me an age, and my eyes are rain clouds, and the whole world is empty. In my misery the days do not pass, and an instant becomes an age, and my eyes, like rain clouds, shed tears. In viraha for Govinda, the three worlds are empty. Life does not pass, but burns like a grass fire. Krishna is indifferent. It must be examined. And all the Shakis say, so ignore Krishna. And while thinking thus, Radha's heart became pure, and the nature of her natural prema arose again. Spite and anxiety and grief and eagerness and humility, all these bhavas arose at one time. And in such bhavas, the heart of Radha was unsteady, and before her Sakhis, she recited a shloka of eagerness. In this bhava, Prabhu pronounced that shloka. While pronouncing it, he himself became that same way. Ashrishyava padaratam pinashtuma adarshanam marmhatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidathati lampato mat prananatastu sa evana para. He may crush my breasts in embracing me, a slave to his feet. He may destroy my heart by not appearing to me. He may be a libertine wherever he wants, but still he is the Lord of my heart, and there is no other. This shloka is most vast meanings, has most vast meanings. Let me explain it in brief, for I do not find the end of it. I am a slave to Krishna, to the feet of Krishna, and he is the fountain of joy and rasa. Embracing me, he crushes me. Sometimes he does not show himself and burns my body and my heart. Still, he is the Lord of my life. O Sakhi, hear the secrets of my heart. Whether he loves me or kills me with grief, Krishna is the Lord of my life. There is no other. Leaving other women, he controls my body and my heart, displaying my glory. He gives distress to all of them, for he sports with me and shows those other women. If he is a libertine, deceitful, shameless, crafty, and keeps company with other women, giving anguish to my heart, sporting in front of me, still he is the Lord of my life. I do not count my own sorrow, but always desire his happiness. His happiness is my intent. If he gives me pain, and that gives him great pleasure, then that pain is my chief happiness. Whatever woman wants Krishna, thirsty for her beauty, for not getting her, why should he be unhappy? I fall at her feet and go and take her by the hand, make her sport with him, make him happy. When a beautiful woman is angry at him, Krishna is delighted, adoring her chastisement and rebukes. Her mana is appropriate, and from that Krishna gets pleasure, for abandonment of mana means negligible sadhana. Why does that woman cling to life, knowing the inner pain of Krishna, still having deep anger for him? She considers that in mana is her own happiness. Let a thunderbolt fall on her head. She still wants only the happiness of Krishna. That gopi who envies me makes Krishna happy, and Krishna desires her. I go to her house and like her a slave, and that to me is a sea of great delight. The wife of the leper, a Brahmana, quest jewel of chaste women, for her husband's sake served a courtesan. She stopped the sun in its course and brought her dead husband back to life and satisfied the three chief devas. Krishna is my life. Krishna is the wealth of my heart. Krishna is the heart of my heart. I shall hold him in my heart, and serving him shall make him happy. This remains my sole and constant meditation. My happiness is in his service. Krishna's happiness is in union. So I give him the gift of my body. Krishna calls me beloved and says, you are the goddess of my heart. I consider myself as slave. Service of the beloved fulfills happiness still more sweet than union. Of that Lakshmi Thakurani is witness. Her place is in the heart of Narayana. Her heart is in the service of his feet. She serves, proud to be his slave. These words of Radha, signs of pure prema, Sri Gaura Rai tasted. In Bhava, his heart was unsteady. The sattvic signs spread over his body. He could not control body or mind. The prema of Braja is pure, like gold, the gold of the Jambu river. It has no hint of satisfaction of the self. To make people know that prema, Prabhu made that shloka and attached this poem to its meaning. In this way, Prabhu, absorbed in this bhava and that, raved, reciting these various shlokas. Previously, he composed 8 shlokas, and through them he taught the people, and he himself tasted the meaning of those 8 shlokas. In him who recites or listens to the Shikshastaka shlokas of Prabhu, day by day, Krishna Prema Bhakti grows. Still, Prabhu, profound as a crore of seas, swelled in many bhavas at the rising of the moon. Those shlokas in Jayadeva and in the Bhagavat and in the drama of Rai and in the Karnamrita, reciting shlokas of all those various bhavas, controlled by those bhavas, he tasted them. Thus he lived day and night for 12 years, tasting Krishna rasa with his 2 friends. The rasa of all these leelas is such that Ananta himself, speaking with 1,000 mouths, could not reach the end of it. A jiva is of small wisdom. How can he describe it? He touches a corner of it to purify himself. All of Chaitanya's actions, all his ravings, there is no end to them. If they were all described, the book would become much too vast. Vrindavan Das first described some of the Leelas, and of all those Leelas I have given only condensed sutras. I have spoken briefly of some omitted by him at the end of Chaitanya's life, and still, because of the vast number of Leelas, the book has grown huge. So I cannot describe all the Leelas. I have completed the book, and I make obeisance to the Leelas. Should one follow out that little which has been mentioned in this survey, much more will be tasty. I cannot fathom the profound Leelas of Prabhu. They do not penetrate my intelligence, so I cannot properly describe them. Bowing to the feet of all Vaishnavas who listen, the description of the actions of Chaitanya is completed. The sky is infinite, and in it there are birds. Who with sufficient power ascends there? So with the Leela of Mahaprabhu, there is no end to it. What jiva can describe it fully? As much as my mind can comprehend, as much as I have described, like touching a drop of water in the sea. Vrindavan Das was the vessel of the grace of Nityananda, and he is the original Vyasa of the Chaitanya Lila. And even though before him was the storehouse of all Leelas, he described but a little bit of them and left out much more. What little has been described in brief. I cannot write more. In this book, he has written so. In various places in his Chaitanya Mangala, he has written so. And listen to these words, for these are the highest proof of it. I have written in brief and did not expand on it, for Vedavyasa will provide a detailed description. This he has written in various places in his Chaitanya Mangala, and he speaks truly. The Vyasa who will come will describe it. The ocean of the nectar of the Chaitanya Lila is like a sea of milk. According to his thirst, he filled the pot and drank it. That little nectar which was left in the pot he gave to me. But that filled my belly, and my thirst was quenched. I am most insignificant jiva, a tiny Rangutuni bird, and as it in its thirst drinks the water of the sea, so I have touched only a drop of the Leela. By this example, you know how vast are the Leelas of Prabhu. I write, and I consider this false pride. My body is like a wooden doll. I am old and worn out, deaf and blind. My hand trembles, and my mind is not steady. I am devoured by disease. I can neither sit nor move, but day and night I suffer the pains of the 5 diseases. I have spoke all this in the previous book. Still I have written here the reason why. Shri Govinda, Shri Chaitanya, Shri Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Shri Bhaktas, and revered hosts of listeners, Sri Swarupa, Sri Rupa, Sri Sanatan, and Sri Raghunatha, who is Sri Guru, and Sri Jiva, the feet of these. By the mercy, the feet of all of these, I was made to write. And there is another who has been most gracious. Sri Madana Gopala commanded me and made me write. It is not right to speak of this, but I cannot contain it. If I did not tell of it, it would be a kritagata dosha against me, which means ingratitude. So even though it is arrogant to speak, oh listeners, do not be angry with me. I bow to the dust of the feet of all of you, and because of that I have written this little of the Leela of Chaitanya. Dina, you want to finish it off? Only a couple more pages. Is he there? Yeah, Dina. Well, I can finish it. I don't mind. Or it's just now. It's the summing up, or the reiteration.
Adam, just carry on. You're there. Just a bit,
okay.
please.
All right. Now let me summarize the final Leelas, for when I summarize them, I get the taste of the Leelas. In the first chapter, there was the second meeting with Rupa, and within that, the hearing of the arrangement of the two dramas. And within it too is the dog who came with Shivananda and how Prabhu released him, causing him to say Krishna. In the second is the lesson given to Chota Haridas, and within it, the wonderful vision of Shivananda. In the third is the vast greatness of Sri Haridas and how Damodar Pandit rebuked Prabhu, and how with the name Prabhu freed the Brahma worlds, and Haridas established the greatness of the name. In the fourth is the second meeting with Sanatan, and how he was saved from suicide. In the heat of the month of Jeshta, he tested him, and infusing him with Shakti, he sent him to Vrindavan. In the fifth, Prabhu was gracious to Pradyumna Mishra, and by means of Rai, he caused him to hear stories of Krishna. And within that also is the sleight of the drama of the Bengali poet, and how Swarup Goswami established the greatness of the Vigraha. In the eighth, Raghunath Das met Prabhu, means the sixth. And at the command of Nityananda made the Chira Mahotsav, and he dedicated him to Swarup Damodar and gave him to the Gunja garland and the Govardhan Shila. In the seventh chapter is the meeting with Vallabha Bhatta, and how in various ways he broke his pride. In the eighth is the coming of Ramachandra Puri, and how in fear of him, Prabhu reduced his food. In the ninth is the release of Gopinath Pattanayaka, and how the people of the three worlds gain darshana of Prabhu. In the 10th, he tastes the gifts of his bhaktas, and the jalis were prepared by Raghava Pandit. And here too is the examination of Govinda and the description of the Parimunda dance. In the 11th is the death of Haridas Thakur, where Gaura Bhagavan shows his affection for his bhaktas. In the 12th is the breaking of the oil jar by Jagadananda and the rebuke of Shivananda by Nityananda. In the 13th, Jagadananda goes to Mathura and Mahaprabhu hears the song of the Devadasi. And there is his meeting with Raghunath Bhattacharya and how Prabhu, being gracious to him, sent him to Vrindavan. In the 14th, the description of the divine madness begins and how Prabhu's body was here but his mind in Vrindavan. And within it is the falling of Prabhu at the Lion Gate and the experience of the appearance of separation of the joints of his bones, and how Prabhu ran when he saw the Chataka mountain. Within that too, a little description of the delirium of Prabhu. In the 15th chapter is his Vilasa in the garden and how he entered it, mistaking it for Vrindavan. In it is also the attraction of the five senses of Prabhu, how he searched for Krishna at the Rasa dance. In the 16th, Prabhu is gracious to Kalidas, and he shows the fruit of taking the remnants of Vaishnava's food. He makes the son of Shivananda recite a shloka. There too, the gatekeeper of the Lion Gate shows Krishna to Prabhu. And there is described the greatness of Mahaprasad and how all tasted shlokas of the nectar of the lips of Krishna. In the 17th, Prabhu falls among the cows, and there he assumed the shape of a tortoise. The heart of Prabhu is drawn by the qualities of the sound of Krishna, and he is overcome by the meaning of the Kastyangati shloka. And again he raves, overcome with bhava, and expands upon the meaning of the Karnamrita shloka. In the 18th chapter, he falls into the sea and has darshana of the water games of Krishna and the gopis. And there he sees the forest feast of Krishna, and the fisherman pulls him out, and Prabhu goes to his own house. In the 19th, Prabhu wounds his face on the wall, And there is the description of his delirium in the blossoming of his viraha from Krishna. And here on a spring night is one, and here on a spring night is his wandering in the flower garden, and the description of the meaning of the shloka on the fragrance of Krishna. And in the 20th chapter is the recitation of his own teaching in 8 verses, and how, tasting the meaning of them, he was absorbed in prema. To teach the bhaktas, he gradually composed that astaka, and the meaning of the astaka shlokas he tasted again. Thus have been summarized the chief parts of the Lila, and from that summary one can recall the contents of the book. There are many events in each of the chapters. Only the very chief ones have been recounted, and while listening to them, you will fathom their endlessness. Sri Madana Mohana with Sri Radha, Sri Govinda Charana with Sri Radha, Sri Gopinatha with Sri Radha. These 3 Thakuras are the lords of all the Gaudiyas. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Juta Nityananda, Sri Advaita Acharya, and the hosts of the Gauda Bhaktas, Sri Swarupa, Sri Rupa, Sri Sanatana, Sri Guru, Sri Raghunath, Sri Jiva. I take the feet of all these on my own head, from which all that is desired is fulfilled. The grace of the feet of them all is Guru and Upadhyaya. My speech is their pupil, and they make it dance. Seeing the fatigue of his pupil, the Guru has stopped the dance. Mercy made it stop dancing, and speech remained at rest. Speech is not skilled and does not know how to dance by itself. It danced as much as it was made to dance, and then rested. I bow to the feet of all who listen. The mercy of the feet of all of them prompts auspiciousness. Who listens to the nectar of the acts of Chaitanya? I drink the water which has washed his feet. The dust of the feet of listeners I take as ornament upon my head. And if you drink that nectar, my labor is fulfilled. Krishna Dasa, whose hope and faith lie at the feet of Rupa and Raghunath, tells of the nectar of the acts of Chaitanya Charitamrta, end of Antya Lila, but there is Upasanghara, so 4 verses. He who tastes with faith the nectar of the acts of Srila Chaitanya Vishnu, which gives auspiciousness and destroys inauspiciousness, is a bee on his stainless lotus feet, and he tastes in highest form the rasa full of the honey of prema. May this book, the nectar of the acts of Chaitanya, the Chaitanya Charitamrta, offered to Chaitanya, be a source of satisfaction to Sri Govinda Deva and Sri Madana Gopala. Does any Rasik Bhakta wish to abandon those lotus feet of Giridhara, which scent the whole world with their fragrance, and where the bees which know rasa are maddened by their rasa? In Shaka 1537, on Sunday in the month of Jeshta, on Krishna Panchami in Vrindavan, this book has been completed. 1537 Shaka answers to 1615 Common Era. Hare Krishna. That's it.
Hare Krishna. Amazing.
That went on a bit, didn't it? Still,
it was.
We still have to do the first 3 chapters again, because the first 3 chapters were not recorded.
Right.
Well, so maybe next Sunday we should do it, and then we can make a playlist.
Okay. Shall we stop the recording now?
Yeah.
Okay.